The newly introduced Guardian Games Trace Rifle Keraunios is so good it's basically an exotic. It's a must-have weapon for every Archetype using the new aspect Storm's Keep, and in this video I aim to show you exactly why you need this event exclusive Trace Rifle. For anyone that doesn't know, Storm's Keep is a newly introduced arc aspect that grants you and nearby allies bolt charge over time for standing behind a barricade, and when you have the max amount of bolt charge, your weapon will spawn a lightning strike similar to the exotic LMG Thunderlord. There are a couple of perks to chase on this weapon, but honestly your choices are pretty limited. In my opinion, triple tap is the only worthwhile perk in the third column. It will generate ammo out of thin air after landing 3 precision hits in a row, which is extremely easy with trace rifles. In the fourth column, there's a new perk called Detonator Beam, which causes an explosion at the target's location after dealing a bit of damage with the weapon. However, Keraunios can also get jolting feedback, a perk that does basically the same thing as Detonator Beam by applying jolt, an arc debuff on your target after dealing some damage with the added benefit of stunning overload champions. The combo of triple tap and jolting feedback is strong enough all on its own, but with Storm's Keep also generating lightning strikes at the target's location, it starts to turn Keraunios into something more than just another trace rifle. In order to take the most advantage of Storm's Keep, you want to use the Rally Barricade. You can shoot over it with increased weapon handling and reload speed. It has a base cooldown of 38 seconds, and the best part is that Storm's Keep doesn't affect the base cooldown of your Rally Barricade. In fact, the cooldown for Rally Barricade will be exponentially faster than 38 seconds. If you have 100 resilience, the base cooldown of Rally Barricade becomes 22 seconds, and the origin trait found on Keraunios called Classy Contender provides 5% class ability energy back with every kill, lowering the cooldown even further than 22 seconds. If you want to take your ability regen another step further, use the weapon mod Synergy. This will occasionally spawn in Arc Seekers that will provide ability energy to all of your abilities, including your barricade after killing some adds. Normally, I would recommend just using a backup mag mod for increased ammo, but my Keraunios dropped with enhanced battery in the second perk slot, which increases the mag size to the max any trace rifle could have, which is 104 rounds. Now let's move on to the fragments that synergize with this new trace rifle. Spark of Ions will generate an ionic trace when you defeat a jolted target or a target with bolt charge. Keraunios with jolting feedback will always be able to jolt targets, proccing Spark of Ions, and while you're behind your barricade, Storm's Keep will proc bolt charge for even more ionic traces. And lastly, Spark of Beacons will give Keraunios another exotic-like effect. If Spark of Beacons is equipped, Keraunios will gain the ability to blind nearby enemies after getting a kill while amplified. Becoming amplified isn't hard, as it happens without even thinking. You just need to get a couple of rapid arc eliminations in order to become amplified and start blinding enemies. And for a limited time, trace rifles are supported in the artifact, increasing their potency beyond anything we have ever seen before. From now until episode Heresy ends, trace rifles can heal you and nearby allies after rapidly killing enemies, and deal increased weapon damage to enemies affected by elemental debuffs that match the trace rifle's element. In the case of Keraunios, it will deal more damage to jolted or blinded targets. Photonic Flare will allow Keraunios to blind targets after defeating an exhausted or severed target. Exhausted targets deal less damage to players just like Sever, but to make an enemy exhausted, you must apply an overload stunning effect on them first. This means you'll only need jolting feedback to proc in order for Keraunios to start blinding enemies instead of waiting to become amplified. And lastly, Elemental Siphon will spawn in elemental pickups after rapidly killing adds, and is another source for Keraunios to spawn ionic traces, which further decreases every ability's cooldown. Overall, I think Keraunios is the perfect arc trace rifle. It is the must acquire weapon from this year's Guardian Games event, and I give it a 9.3 out of 10. You'll only have a limited time to acquire this weapon, so make sure you don't miss out. And that's your Keraunios God Roll Guide, weapon review, and build guide. Let me know if you're farming for this weapon in the comments and what role you're chasing. Subscribe for more, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.